All right. Episode 14, To Hell with the Podcast. We're back. I'm Tim. I'm here with Daryl, and we are going to be talking about the new release. We've been talking about it since we started doing these shows 14 weeks ago, and Stryper has now come out for the first time ever. The Stryper Christmas album, The Greatest Gift of All. Good morning, Daryl. How are you, man?
Man, I'm great. This has been a really fun exercise for me with this Christmas record because I'm not like a Christmas. I mean, Christmas is cool, but if you can throw some like metal into my Christmas, then I'm totally cool with it. And I had a really good time listening to this record, so I am very stoked to talk about it.
Yeah, same here. I was listening to, of course, it was released. Again, we do this on Saturday mornings. We release the episodes on Tuesday. So the album just came out yesterday. So we had a crash course on listening to this album yesterday. Once we were finally realized that, wait, it's not on Spotify. Wait, it's not available for streaming. We actually had to go in and purchase the album, which I did off of Amazon Music, which was fine because I did pre-order the vinyl, the record, and that still hasn't come yet.
Yeah,
So I'm still waiting.
neither is my CD. So
I'm still waiting on that. And so I went, as I was saying, I woke up yesterday morning to go listen to the album. I went to the gym yesterday morning and usually listening to music while I'm at the gym. And I went to find Stryper, The Greatest Gift of All. And I'm like, it's not in their discography. There we go. It's not in their albums. What's going on? So I said, well, maybe it'll come out later in the day. Maybe it'll come out later in the day. But then when I got back home and got into the groove of working and everything like that, then I saw a post that said, hey, it's available, for purchase and all this, but the album is not streaming at this time. So it wasn't available on Spotify. The way I was able to listen to it, like I said, was fortunately I was able to buy it off of Amazon Music as an MP3. So able to do that. But if you're looking for it on Spotify, as of right now, it's not there. You have to actually purchase the album.
yeah, it was funky. I had to download it as like I said, I was telling you earlier, as a zip file, and I was like, "What year is this that I have to unzip a file and all the tracks are on my local machine on my computer?" And so I was annoyed, but I'll get over it. It was
Yeah,
fine.
it was just different because from my recollection in the past, because I usually will either buy the CD or I'll buy the vinyl, I'll pre-order it, but I typically know I may not get it on the day that it comes out, but I will get it for streaming. And that's why we said last week, hey, we're going to be talking about The Greatest Gift of All next week. But since you hadn't received your CD and I hadn't received the album yet, yesterday morning, and then Amazon was having some funky stuff going on yesterday. I couldn't even access, I purchased it, but then I couldn't even access my purchased items to listen to it. So we're sitting there yesterday morning going, what are we going to talk about tomorrow if we can't listen to that?
Yeah, it was really funky because I downloaded it as a zip file and I had all the songs on my computer, but I purchased it from Amazon, but it wasn't in my library. And I'm like, wait a minute, what's going on here? But anyway, we can get past the technical BS for now. I
Yes.
I really had a really good time listening to this record because and hold on, I gotta give a little bit of a shout out. Oh my goodness, where'd you go? Where'd you go? There was this one critic that I saw. Dang it. I'm gonna screw this up. Jay Hellman, and it's the only review that I've seen, but when I read it, I was just like, the structure of this album is perfectly balanced. And that's my general overview because the originals slap. I mean, I love every original on this record,
Yeah.
but I also like the interpretations of just the traditional stuff. I mean, like Joy to the World with drums and guitar give me that all day.
I
It's
know.
I was like, there were a few songs that I was just like, "Holy crap, dude! This is re- really, really good reimagining of songs that are 100 years old." And I was really and all right, I'm gonna stop, but
Yeah, because I do have a couple of things from the news desk I want to get into before we
yes,
start jumping into
I'm
the
sorry.
album.
Yeah, I'm talking too much. So you go ahead.
No, 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 it's totally fine because what I would like to do because you and I are both this isn't something that we know very well and that we have all these tracks memorized. I mean, yes, of course, we have the original songs in our head. When I say original, like The Joy to the World, Silent Night, we knew the lyrics coming in, but what would Stryper's interpretation be of those songs? We had already heard Winter Wonderland. They had released the On This Holy Night on Halloween Day. They also
It's
had
hilarious.
released Still the Light. That was the first single that they did off of this album. But then we also knew Reason for the Season. But we'll talk about the tracks differently. But going back to the streaming thing and it not being on Spotify, and I totally get it in a sense because I was talking to somebody yesterday. Yeah, me and my boss at work, he's a really cool guy. And sometimes we'll meet and then sometimes we'll just start talking about music because he's a big music guy. He knows I'm a big music guy. And we started talking about music yesterday on one of our calls. It was a Friday afternoon. Our minds were kind of numb from the week. It was just like, it's Friday afternoon. And we started talking about how a lot of these artists nowadays aren't probably don't make a lot of money from the free streams to really to support an artist. It's buying the actual album, and that's why a vinyl record costs 45 bucks or 50 bucks or 60 bucks, because back in the day when we were buying vinyl, it was $7. Yeah, so inflation it hasn't been that bad, but how much money are they really making? And some of the things that are lost when you just stream and only stream. Because what I saw, what Stryper had actually posted earlier this week, which I thought was very interesting now, especially since it wasn't available to stream yesterday for free on Spotify, was this right here. And they posted this on Tuesday and it said, why CDs? In my opinion, it could be why CDs or albums still but of course, you're going to get a superior sound from a CD. You own it. It's yours. Like if the internet wipes out tomorrow for whatever reason, if I have a hard copy of it, I still get to listen to my favorite stuff. The physical artwork and the booklets. For me, you can see here where I kind of said still buy CDs and vinyl. And I've always loved the artwork of Stryper and the albums that they do. And also, too, I go in and I'm listening to the lyrics, and sometimes I'm like, what are they saying? Or not just Stryper, but other artists, like, what are they listening to? Because I can remember as a kid, I would get the album or I would get the CD. I'd go into my room, I would play the album, and I would read along with the lyrics. And if I have the hard copy, I'd still do that. I still do that to this day. My first listen or second listen, I'm usually listening to the album, following along with the lyrics. And then there's and if you're using the cheap versions of Spotify or whatever, there's no pop-ups, there's no ads, there's no algorithms. It's just you and the music. And real music, as it says at the beginning, deserves a real format. Stop streaming and start listening. I mean, what is your opinion on that, Daryl?
This is I love this graphic, but it so when you're listening to a CD versus streaming, the compression on a streaming song is like twice as much. So the the audio quality is not as good. And I agree with you on listening as you're listening. And this is some old school crap, but like I love like back in the day when you would like buy a CD or buy a vinyl or whatever. But there's so much like the liner notes because 'cause I'm a nerd like that, so I wanna
So am
see
I.
who's who's doing what, and so, like, I love seeing all that stuff, and it's like, it you don't get the same breadth of knowledge when you're streaming, and I will give Amazon a little bit of props because as I was listening to this album, they had like little pop-ups. It's like, "Did you know this?" And it popped up the Randy Jackson thing. It's like, "Hey, did you know that Stryper used to be called Rock's Regime?" And I was like, "Yes, I did know that, but thank you for, bringing that up."
Reminding me.
But yeah, there were like a bunch of little like pop-up windows as I was listening to this record on Amazon, and I was like, "All right, that's kinda cool," cool because Spotify doesn't really do that stuff. Yeah, I think in this next year, I'm really gonna get into the physical stuff because yeah, you get a lot more information versus streaming, and the audio quality is definitely better. I mean, that's a given. You're dealing with 128 kilobit on streaming, I think. But anyway, that's geeky stuff, whatever. But yeah, the audio quality on physical media is there's no doubt that that stuff sounds better. But yeah, I mean, but yeah, it's just getting as I'm pulling like like I say, I just bought a new record player, so I'm looking at Pink Floyd Dark Side of the Moon as a vinyl record, and all of the liner notes and information that you get about it's like you should know about that. If you're paying that money, you should like educate yourself. I think that's I think that's my bottom line. It's like you need to know who's doing what. Yeah, it's I would definitely recommend physical media versus streaming but I'm old, so whatever.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with you on that as well. With me, it's also about supporting the artist. Again, like I said, a record is 45, $60, but at the end of the day, do you want your favorite artist, your favorite band to continue making music? Or do you want them to finally have to say, it's not worth it because we're not making any
True.
money on this because it's gone to streaming. So that's why I don't necessarily have an issue going to a concert and dropping some money on a shirt and some of the souvenirs and all of that that you can get at a concert because I want my favorite bands to continue making music. And I just remember back in the day, especially up and coming bands that I liked, and they didn't really go further after an album or two because they weren't getting the stuff, they weren't making the money out it. But I don't want that to happen to Michael Sweet. I don't want that to happen to Stryper. I don't want that to happen to my other favorite artists. Now, the only this is the thing that I do like. When I went to the concert a couple of weeks ago and I met
Everything comes back to Brian Adams.
but this is the point that one of the guys and I were talking about was he had a shirt on from the 91 tour. Well, it's actually 92, but the album came out in 91. It was Waking Up the Neighbors, probably his biggest album that he had ever done, and probably one of my favorites. But the thing that we both were like, well, how many times did you have to buy that album because you wore it out? Well, I had to buy the CD 3 or 4 times because I listened to it so much. And it wasn't just that album, but it was some Stryper albums and it was some other albums that I listened to. When they get a scratch, they get a mark on them, and it's just like, oh my gosh, it's got a scratch on it. And it's a scratch on my favorite song. I'm gonna have to go buy the album again to do that. That's the one thing I do like about streaming is I can buy the vinyl, I can buy the CD and listen to it and get the quality out of that. But I also know the majority of the time I'm going to listen to it through streaming because it's on Spotify or it's on some other method. So I'm not buying the same CD 15 times, or I had the CD in the car and where'd it go? I can't find it. I want to listen to that right now. So that's one of the things I appreciate about the streaming is yes, I can still buy it and have it and read the liner notes, read the thank yous, see the artwork, get all of that, follow along with the lyrics right when it comes out. But I also like it because it's always there on Spotify for the cost of a CD each month.
Well, it's convenient because I pop it in the car and you're already listen like yesterday, I was listening to some of this and it picked up on my car Bluetooth and I'm just like, "Yeah, this is kinda how this works," and but
Yeah.
yeah, I think it's just like how do you wanna have this stuff presented to you? And, like, when I got up this morning, I was listening to some vinyl, but if I'm going to run some errands, then it's gonna be Spotify in the car. So I get the back and forth between the 2 between multiple formats for sure, but, yeah, there's no debating that Spotify is, like, super convenient, but it doesn't sound as good as the stuff that I have sitting over here on my shelf.
Yeah. Going to your point, going to the liner. I'd show you the greatest gift of all, but I don't have that right now. That's coming at some point. But Stryper's last release, When We Were Kings, that's cool artwork. You've got the back with the labels. Then you flip it open. The lyrics are here. Is that all lyrics? No. For the most part, that's all lyrics. But I don't know if you can see that. But look at all those liner notes in there on that page. And some of it's thank yous, like Robert Sweet thanks Oz Fox, Perry, Michael Sweet. But then you have all the other stuff that goes into the producer and all that kind of stuff that you don't get and you don't see if you are not purchasing this stuff, purchasing the albums. And at the end of the day, like I said, it's a great way to support them, but then you have the physical copy in your hand as well. And like you, there's just still something, that excitement that I get when I'm peeling open an album for the first time. And I had that happen on, like you said, everything goes back to Brian Adams, but he put out this box set last year of where he went and did 3 live albums, or he did at the Royal Albert Hall in London. It's in London, yeah. He did
Nice. Yep.
3 different albums live in 3 different nights consecutively. So I bought the box set, I bought the records for that. I remember the day that it came out, and again, I was traveling that day and I went to Spotify and they weren't there. It was almost 6 months before they became on Spotify, but I had them. I was listening to them because I had the physical copies of them. And so sometimes, and I just wonder, as I see him do it, now I've seen Stryper do it, is that going to kind of be the go-to method? Yes, it'll eventually get, for some artists, not all artists, but for some artists, will it eventually get to, we're going to put the album out, but we're not going to release it to streaming until 2 or 3 months later, to kind of say, hey, if you really want to hear it now, you have to buy it. And I'm not saying that's wrong. I'm saying, hey, then if you're a fan, buy the stinking thing.
No, I agree totally. One of my favorite bands is Alter Bridge, and you mentioned Royal Albert. They did like a whole thing at Royal Albert with the London Symphony Orchestra and all that crap, and I bought I bought the CDs and stuff, but yeah, like you say, it was probably 6 months before it came actually out on streaming, and, I'm like, I'm not gonna sit here and talk ish about any band that's like trying you're a professional musician, you're trying to make money as you're trying to be a creative. So it's just like that's a hard gig in and of itself. So yeah, it's it's a pain in the butt because you have to buy you gotta go buy the thing and it might not be on streaming for 6 months, but I think we've gotten so like spoiled at some of these guys because especially the newer kids, it's like, oh, we're just gonna release a single because you don't really have like a whole album release anymore. It's just like, oh, we're gonna release like 2 or 3 singles and then we'll release the whole record like later, but it won't be on streaming for the whole record won't be on streaming for like 6 more months. I'm like, just the business model of being a musician is gotta be just maddening at this point.
Well, you make a good point about releasing 2 or 3 singles before you even hear the album coming out. You rewind back to 30 years ago, 40 years ago. where the methodology of releasing an album was you're like wondering, hey, where's my favorite band? I haven't heard from them in a while because we couldn't just go on the internet and see social media, what they were posting and what they were doing. And then all of a sudden, boom, new single is out on MTV or a new single is out on the radio. And it was typically one single that they would release in hype and anticipation of the full album coming out. And so
Yep, the
it
hype
was
single.
it was a great song. I'm running out the day it comes out or soon thereafter buying the album. But like you said, I think it's just, hey, I'm going to release 4 singles. And some of them don't even put albums out anymore. They just continuously just put singles out. Goes back to, it goes back to, I sometimes feel that people don't have appreciation of an entire album like they used to. Because when we were talking about our deep tracks or forgotten songs, sometimes those are the best songs that people don't even know exist because all they listen to are the singles that constantly come out. And I got a question for you. My mind just went here, and I've seen it twice this week, and I want to get your opinion on this. There is a artist that has hit number one on a couple of it's a couple of different types of charts in the Christian music industry. And there is another artist who has also been recognized on has hit number one on the country music charts. And the thing is AI,
Yeah, that's a
AI. And I just want to show you this for a moment because on this Christian music chart, and please don't take me wrong, I'm not knocking Christian music as I say this. I'm just saying because it's a Christian music chart. This is what this person, they have given this person a whole persona, a whole Facebook page. He's called Solomon Ray, and you've got people here singing the song, followers, 360 monthly listeners, number one gospel
grief.
digital song sales. To me, I don't know. I just don't like that at all because to me,
Well,
it's
if I can
where's the
no, if I
creativity, the influence, the inspiration behind it? And I'm sorry, I listened to the song and I repeated some of the lyrics to my wife. And one of the songs that is out, it's about, I get it, but it's just, I'm sorry, it's cheesy. Starting your morning with Jesus and coffee. I'm just like, if I do those 2 things, my day's going to go great. And it's just sappy, but just the whole thing of this is artificial intelligence. We're building a persona behind it. I just completely disagree with doing that when it comes to music.
well, not even talking about Christian music, but Timbaland has released a record, and the artist is an artificial artist, and Timberland is a he's massive. So, we're getting into some weird waters, man, because when it comes to the creatives, I'm a tech guy. So, I use AI almost as a, coworker. So, I was like, I need to do this function. So, hey, can you help me with this? When it comes to like actual creativity, that's where I kind of get weird because I mean, why do we need AI music? It's like there's enough creative people in this world that can do stuff like that. And and a lot of it's garbage. But it's such a trend right now and it is very disturbing to me. Um 'Cause I don't want robots creating my music. I'm not gonna listen to it anyway, but there's a lot of, like, younger kids that will listen to this garbage, and I I I know it's a tool, and I guess if you're just doing it to make money from it or whatever, then I guess it's a business, but I don't like AI for creative stuff. I like AI to like do processes and business functions and hey, write me a scope of work on something like this. When it comes to music and stuff like this, I just I I can't stand by it because I don't know. If you're creative, you need to be creating and not have some robot do it for you.
No, totally agree with that because at the end of the day, where's the creativity anymore?
There's
Where
not. If you're doing it
it's
that
a
way, then there's no creativity.
there's no inspiration. And I really think what will end up happening is if this is the way people start going with music, you're going to get sappy, cheesy lyrics with no real life experience. And all the music's going to become, because for me, I've always been a lyric guy, and the lyrics are what I really relate to. And it just I think it's just gonna take it and make it sappy and stupid and not relatable, and it's just a slippery slope when using AI for creativity projects.
Well, it's gonna be a sterilized version. I mean, we're gonna get into this record eventually, but, yeah, I I just think when you're talking about AI artistry, I guess I'll put it in air quotes, but it's it's not gonna be as good. I want people with passion and wanting to, like, put their energy into their music, and it's just like, if you're just telling AI to write you a song, I can go on Chat GPT and tell it to write me a song, and it would probably do a decent job. How I'm still working on our intro, but yeah, it's gonna just everything's gonna be vanilla, and me as a music fan, I want your heart and your soul. I want to see it all out there in front of me. And so this AI stuff it's not going to do that. And I say it's not going to do that, but we're moving so fast with the AI engines. It might be able to do that at some point, but not right now. And I'm just like, I I feel like you're just if you're an artist and you're an artist, I don't even know if you could even call yourself that if you're doing AI stuff. But it's just there's no passion in that kind of thing. And I've listened to a couple of the AI artists, and I'm just like, man, I don't like pop music in general, but write me a metal song with AI, and I will just call you out on your crap because you didn't put energy into this. You just told the prompt what to do for you, and that's just garbage, dude. I'm sorry.
And then all of a sudden, you have these songs that hit the top of the charts. Who's performing it live?
Right.
There's gonna be no Solomon Ray, for the example I just used. There's gonna be no Solomon Ray going on a tour. There's gonna be no Solomon Ray that
Oh, he'll be an avatar.
oh my gosh. He'll be a
I'm
hologram.
sorry, that's what it's gonna be.
It's just
How else would you present it? I mean, if you've got a AI dude doing AI music, he's gonna have to be an avatar if he's gonna be on stage. If he's gonna be on stage, I don't know how else you would do it.
yeah, I don't either. And I think I first realized this whole AI thing with music when a buddy of mine told me about it. And I went online and I just, as stupid as this sounds, I said, because at the time my youngest son was really into Paw Patrol. So this was last year. He doesn't watch Paw Patrol as much anymore. But I said, write me a rock song based on the characters from Paw Patrol. I had a 2.5 minute song within 30 seconds. Not just one
Yep.
song, but two. So I got to choose which one I liked. And I listened to it and I just went, this is crazy. And and the thing is, the way this stuff sounds is at the end of the day, we're if this becomes a thing, what is real and what is not? And that's what I really have a problem with as well. Is there if something's generated AI, my eye has become pretty keen to know, okay, this is AI, this is not AI, because it's too perfect in the AI world. Like the trees are perfect, the background's perfect, The people are perfect. It's just you can tell when it's AI. But if you're just listening to it and you don't have the visual behind it, and for a song to go to number 1, how do you know what's real and what's not?
No, it's nuts, and the visual versus the audio is a great thing. I saw Donald Trump playing soccer with Messi yesterday. I was like, "I know this ain't real." So, but yeah, the audio stuff, you can't really tell, and the visual is it's really stuff like I just said, Trump ain't playing soccer with Messi. It's just not gonna happen, but it was in the Oval Office. I was like, "Alright, I know this is fake." So but when you're listening to the audio stuff, you don't have that reference anymore. So it's just like, yeah, this is some dude that's making a song or whatever, and it's just, yeah, it's only going to get worse, and I hate it because I want the creative people to be creative, but it's uh it's getting wild out there. I mean, right now we're in the Wild West as far as AI for songwriters and singers and that kind of stuff on top of every other thing that AI is trying to take over. I I use it as a tool. I hate it in the music field because I want my singers and my songwriters and my musicians to do the thing, and I I I kind of hate it that Timbaland is the fact that he's doing some of this stuff, and he's a super influential guy, and I'm just like, man, just keep keep developing kids that are writing their own stuff. It's just like it's very lazy for somebody that big to be doing something like that. I'm kind of disappointed. I mean, I know he's he brought up like Justin Timberlake and a bunch of other dudes, but I'm just like, man, just keep doing that. I don't know. I can't stand the AI component of when it comes to the creatives. I just don't like it. Very useful for a lot of other things. I mean, I use the heck out of it. I do AI stuff probably pretty much every day. But yeah, when it comes to the creative stuff, man, I just can't. I can't get behind it.
Yeah, and just so if you're listening and those that are aware, the country song that I was talking about is by a band. I just had to look it up because I just saw
Oh,
that this
we're gonna
morning.
make country music even worse than it is.
The AI artist Breaking Rust. But I read this article and I think this is really true and it kind of sums up what you and I have just summed up. I don't want to share who wrote this because I don't want people to think my ideology is crazy, but the article started off, a machine can imitate heartbreak well enough to top the charts, but it cannot carry grief, choose courage, or hear the whisper that calls human beings to something higher. It can imitate it, but does it really inspire? But this song has hit the number one on the chart, but there's no lived experience from this song. There's no soul behind the voice dominating the country music charts. And that's what I just don't like about it because now all of a sudden, if you're not aware that it's AI, you're going to be relating to a song, possibly that there is it's imitation. It's not. And that's what I liked about the opening statement. We can imitate it, but we can't, it's not being lived.
Well, I mean, I've been seeing job listings for AI producers. So you can go like get a job to like create content as a job. You're not doing it like on your own. You're just having AI go do it. And I'm just like, gosh, I know I'm old, but sometimes some of this doesn't make any sense. Cause like I don't want some kid like just going out and create just telling the robot what the content should be. And it's like I say, it's just lazy. I don't know. I just don't like it. It's the world we live in. It's like I say, I'm old and AI is doing a lot of stuff. And I appreciate a lot of it. I just don't like it in this context because it's just come on, man. Make up your own stuff. It's like don't ask the robot what you should be writing about. So,
Last
actually,
thing,
you know what? I might go write a metal song on AI later today. Just
take
to
it to
see
number
what
one. Take it to number one. Last thing I'm going to say about AI. I saw this post yesterday on LinkedIn, and it was a poll question of if you show up to an interview and it's a Teams or it's a Zoom interview, and you show up to the interview and you realize that there's no one on the other end asking you questions after you've gotten dressed up and prepared to come to the interview, you realize there's no one on the other end, but it's an AI bot asking you questions to transcribe your answers. What would you do? 60 something percent said they would immediately leave the conversation.
I I would be insulted a little bit if you don't
Yeah.
have the stones to at least look me in the face, especially if you're in a job interview. As somebody who doesn't have one right now, I would be insulted.
Yeah. I would leave if I was going to a job interview because all your anybody could put anything on a piece of paper and say anything to an AI bot, but you're not getting to know the person behind the paper.
Yeah, I need to see your face, I need to see your facial expressions, I need to see how you react to certain things, but if we're talking about having a relationship, job interview kinda thing, I need you in front of me, and, yeah, I would be, like, really insulted if somebody put that thing out there, so but that's just me.
Yep. Totally, totally agree with you on that. And, but I think we're 40 minutes in and it might be time to start talking about the greatest gift of all.
Good lord, we talk too much, but hey, I don't care, I'm with it. No, man, so where
Your
do we
thoughts on
start?
the first, let's just do a rundown on our first initial reaction to hearing the album. Not maybe going in, because not maybe going in depth on each song just yet, but the first initial reaction. What was your overall thought when you first heard the album yesterday?
Man, I don't know if I was just, like, in a good mood or what was going on, but I had a good time listening to this thing. It was such a good mix of the originals and the traditional, and I was like, and I was looking at the track listing, the sequencing on this record is perfect. There's, like there's a original, then there's a traditional, and then it was just I just thought it was perfect, and it's the most metal Christmas record ever in all of time, so I was just like, there's a couple songs on here, "Still the Light," there's a just we can talk about that, but just a couple of things where I was just like, it I remember when we talked about Sing Along, where it just makes you smile, there were a few things. "Go Tell It on the Mountain," if you're a church kid, oh my word. You got "Go Tell on the Mountain" with drums and guitars? Let's go, dude. And Joy to there I have a lot of thoughts. I just had a really, really good time listening to this thing from top to bottom. It was really cool. So, I don't know exactly where you wanna go with this. I could talk about all
Yeah,
this.
my first initial reaction, just off the top, just the first track, which is the title track, just the first track itself with the what you can call the Christmas bells on it, you go all of a sudden, you go, okay, this is going to be a Christmas album with the signature sounds of Christmas, like Christmas bells and everything. But it's like you said, it's rock, it's metal. They do slow down Silent Night. They do slow it down with Silent Night, and I think it was Joy to the World. But listening to this from front to back, I just had the same kind of concept that you did. Like, this is an incredible album, but now another album to add to the holiday season, and it's by Stryper, and it's a rock album with mixtures of heavy, with mixtures of rock, with mixtures of, if you want to call it ballads, and just from front to end. And I'll tell you this, some of the things that one of the things I really liked about this album, and they're always good. They're always good with this, but it just seemed to stand out because I'll tell you this. This is what I thought of when I was listening to this album. When this being a Christmas album, and when the angels broke out to the shepherds, as Linus states in Christmas Charlie Brown, but of course that's from the Bible. It's not Linus saying it, but talking about the story of announcing his birth and they break out into song. I mean, we weren't there. We didn't hear the song, but the harmonies on this album, almost to me in certain aspects of the song, kind of sounded angelic when they were doing them. Probably some of the best harmonies I have heard from them. And maybe it was just cause, like you said, maybe it was in the mood that I was in that they stood out. Maybe they intentionally did this because it's a Christmas album, but the harmonies on this album, especially like on Heaven Came, I love that one. That's the third track on this album. But just like you, when you say listening to sing along, it was just like I was listening to this while I was working and eating lunch yesterday. And I'm like, this is putting me in a very, very good mood listening to it. I just think from front to all the way down to track number 10, the originals that they put on here are great. The remakes that they do of old time songs like Go Tell It on the Mountain, Little Drummer Boy, Silent Night, Joy to the World. This is just a great album. It's not going to be something that you listen to. Okay, great. They came out with a Christmas. This is going to be something that gets pulled out every year after year listening to this during the holiday season.
No, I absolutely agree with you. Excuse me. It was funky though because like you get these like just hard metal songs. It was like this is a Christmas song, but it's
Yeah.
like they're still doing like all the Stryper things, and I'm just like listening to the lyrics, and I'm just like, this is amazing. But then you jump into like the title track. It's like a super happy song, and it's got like a cool tempo and everything. But then you go to something classic like Joy of the World. I think that's my favorite song on this record because this guitar solo it's stupid. I mean, but then you jump to something like Still the Light, and it's just like it's kind of a journey because you have like these original songs that are really good, but then you get back to the traditional Christmas stuff. And I'm sorry, Mike's vocals are out of this world on those originals because like I was like going through the originals, they all just slap. And his vocal performance on this record from top to bottom is absolutely ridiculous. And I know I say that every time we do an episode, but I was listening to it and I was just like, dang, dude, it's I think it might be my favorite vocal performance of his, and that's a strong statement for me. But yeah, every song was just like, whether it's like super soft or the originals, I was just like, man, do your thing, bro, because he killed every song on this record.
Yeah, because the song that's playing underneath right now is the opening track, The Greatest Gift of All. And I think this is just really just slapping, like you just said, lyrically this song comes out. And the reason I know the lyrics is because they actually, yesterday they released this, it's out on the Frontiers. It's not on Stryper's, but it's on Frontiers YouTube. And it's The Greatest Gift of All official visualizer video. But with this particular song, it's opening it out. To me, it's opening up what the season is truly about. Because like in the first lyrics, he's saying it's not about the gifts wrapped under the tree. It's about the love that sets us free. Going back to focusing on what the season is about, which is about his birth. And then also the chorus, I mean, not the chorus, but the second verse looking at a stranger's simple smile, a door held open wide, a meal we share together. It should never be about what we stand to gain, but how we try to ease another person's pain. And it always seems to be about, I shouldn't say this, but so many people make it about what am I getting? Or they make it so much about the gifts that they do forget what the song is about. What was the greatest gift of all? And that was the birth of Jesus. And they say, this is what the season should be about, because there's no remakes of, on this album, there's no remakes of anything about Santa. Not that I'm saying that shouldn't be on there, but they really kept the focus on what the season is truly about and not doing stuff about Santa and Rudolph and all of that stuff. They really kept the message of this album about their faith, about Jesus. And that's the thing I like about it too, because to me, that's what the season's about. It's not about, ooh, what am I getting? Even though that is a part of the season, it's what is this season truly about? And that's what I like about this album. It's really keeping the focus on what was given to us.
Well, really, what else would you expect? I don't want to hear Stryper doing a cover of Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer or
Yeah,
some
exactly.
stupid crap
Thank
like.
you. I was trying to remember. It's just like I've gone blank. Yes, Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. Here comes Santa Claus. I mean, could you imagine
Yeah,
that
that's
by Stryper?
yeah, that's
No.
no. I would be mad if that were a thing. But no, like we're we're keeping our holidays like super small this year because it's just like it's yeah, it's not about what you're getting. It's like, hey, are we hanging out? Are we loving on each other? And let's not forget about what the season's actually about. And so, yeah, I get really, and one of the things, hold on, dang it. One of the, I love that song. One of the things that, golly, I can't remember this guy's name. Anyway, the author that I referenced earlier, one of his points was, I don't need to hear Mariah Carey anymore because every year it's Mariah Carey. And he was like, this record is going to replace some of the pop BS because golly, man, Christmas music kind of sucks a lot of times. But like you said earlier, I think this thing is going to be like, it's going to be a thing because I really love the mix of the original and the traditional, and it's like and the other thing too that I know that I was thinking about when I was listening is the production is really good.
Yes.
I went and listened to Reason on the Yellow and Black release, and we were talking about a Reason on this record. And if you listen to it, Reason for the Season on this record, it's so much bigger than what's on Yellow and Black. And I appreciate that. It's not quite as gritty, but yeah, it like we were talking the other day. It's the mix vocally and musically, it's all pretty even, which is cool, but on Yellow and Black the vocal is definitely in the front. But yeah, I don't know. I'm gonna sound like a stupid fanboy here. I really enjoyed listening to this thing, dude. It was surprising to me how much I enjoyed it.
I'll admit this. When I first heard that they were going to do a Christmas album, I kind of went, really?
Right.
What's that going to sound like? It was just, but then during our discussions, I had to think, yes, they already had Reason for the Season. They already had Winter Wonderland. And I sent you that video last night, I think. And I
Yep.
forgot about that until you texted me. Oh, I did Little Drummer Boy. They actually did Little Drummer Boy about 15 years ago.
Yeah, that was wild.
at
I
the
hadn't
New
seen
York
that.
Stock Exchange doing some concert outside there. And I was like, oh, yeah, they did do Little Drummer Boy back then. And I started thinking, this really has the potential to be a very good album. And they, I will say this again, not to sound like a fanboy, but it exceeded my expectations.
Yes,
And
absolutely. I agree.
listening to it yesterday on the original songs, because we had already heard Still the Light, that's been out for a little bit. On This Holy Night has been out a little bit. One of the ones that I kept going back to yesterday was this one right here, the third track, Heaven Came, because I love the way that it begins, but then I love the way how it picks up speed and the harmonies on this song. This song yesterday from the original song. I mean, original remakes. Yeah, this would be considered original. Sorry, the original songs. This is the like it just picks up like it starts grinding into it. I was like, I really kept going back to this one yesterday because again, we had already heard two of the five original songs, but not to take away from the other ones. But this is the one I just kept going back to yesterday and just really loved the flow of this song. And this whole album is just a vibe of this time of year.
Right.
It's not like you're listening to it and it's just like album of Christmas lyrics. It is, they got the vibe of the season into this album. And it's just, this is a fun record to listen to.
No, that's a great way to frame it, man. And that's how I feel too. I mean, like I was saying, I listened to it all day yesterday, and I was just like, yeah, this is a fun record that encapsulates the reason for the season. I hate to be cheesy, but that's you know they they definitely kind of put that whole thing in a box, and it was just they I don't know if they could have done better on this, and I just I'm saying that the vocal performance and the musical performances on the original songs as well as the traditional songs, I'm definitely breaking out Joy to the World on this record when we get all our people in the house for Christmas, because I think that thing just slaps, dude. And the title track, I mean, it's just the whole thing is just it's just happy and it it encapsulates, like you said, it encapsulates the season that we're in, and so it's like, yeah, dude, this I'm gonna break this thing out and see what my people think about it, because I mean, like I say, I had a blast listening to this thing. It just made like just talking about it right now. I'm smiling, so it's just
Yeah, I know. Now, this
go ahead.
song right here, this lyric part right there, it actually reminded me of his solo album, Truth. The way he did that little vibe in it and the way he did that little lyric, it reminded me of a couple of songs off of Truth as I was listening to it, but the guitars prior to that part, that just made me just listen to those guitars. That is just incredible. And some of the reviews that I have seen, I did a search this morning, and some of this is from the Christian market, but they're saying Stryper's gift to the fans this season is a rollicking record that points the way to the Savior while keeping an edge with the right amount of fun in the music. KNAC said a Christmas album is always a challenge for any band, and Stryper. A Christmas album is always a challenge for any band. And
Wait,
Stryper,
hold on. Did you say that review is from KNAC?
yeah, knac.com.
Wow. For those of you who don't know, KNAC is a radio station in Los Angeles that was a groundbreaking metal station. So for them to talk about Stryper is kind of cool. But anyway, continue.
Yeah, it said the Christmas album is always a challenge for any band, and Stryper manages to take on this challenge convincingly over long stretches and knock out a few powerful rockers on the greatest gift of all. And they also said what Stryper does to Little Drummer Boy is just grand. It takes a great deal of musical sensitivity and no less good taste to transform such a traditional Christmas carol into a credible heavy metal number. But here, Stryper proves they have both. That's from KNAC as well.
No, I love this remake of Little Drummer Boy because I am a little drummer boy, but I'm not sure. I had like just all these kind of feelings of like nostalgia, and I'm not sure where they came from, but when I was listening to it, I was just like, man, and it does sound like, gosh, what is the name of that song on Soldiers? Is it Soldiers of the Republic? Something like that. Anyway, who cares? But
Battle of the Hymn Republic or Hymn of the Battle.
Yes, Battle Hymn of the Republic. Thank you. But yeah, it's the same drum pattern. But again, Mike is just, this whole record, he is just, I feel like he nails everything. And I'm just like, did you like work up to this? Because I know he's a phenomenal vocalist, but it seemed like he was kind of on a different level. And I love how they go to the 4/4 here. But yeah, it was just, his vocals sounded like this. It was kind of on a different level, and I'm not sure why, but I don't know. But yeah, just, I love this song. I don't think there's definitely no skippers on this record, in my opinion.
I would absolutely agree.
You're pulling this out for Christmas, then there's no skippers on this one. I had so much fun listening to this whole thing. Yeah, there's like a lot of nostalgia in here, and just the new stuff is really the most metal Christmas record ever. But yeah, there were just some things, and I was like, especially Go Tell It on the Mountain. If you grew up in church, this song's burned into your brain. But then let's throw some guitars and drums on top of it and just make it a little bit sweeter.
Yeah, it's when you said that earlier, growing up in church, and I just remember how I used to sing "Go Tell It on the Mountain."
It ain't this
versus how it's on this album. It's like, yeah, I like this version a lot better than the one I used to sing.
Oh heck yeah, dude! It's a great remake. I mean, I was listening to it yesterday, and I was like, all right. We should have been covering this at some point because this sounds really cool. So, but yeah, I mean, I think they kind of nailed it, man. It's just a great mix of the new and the traditional, and I am just kind of a little bit blown away because when I was listening to it, I was just like, dang, dude, they reimagined some stuff that's, some of these songs are 100 years old, and so for them to be able to kind of reimagine them, like Joy to the World and Little Drummer Boy and Go Tell It on the Mountain, but we also got a remix of Reason for the Season and Winter Wonderland, and they cut out some of the stuff from the beginning of Winter Wonderland. I don't know if you remember that, because he was talking to the guys in the band as as Robert was playing his, all right, shun you guys, I'll do it myself.
Oh yeah, and I remember
that part's not in this particular track, but yeah, I thought it was funny that they cut it out. But as they went forward through the track, it was the same as it was before. But yeah, I don't know, man. Like I say, I just had a ball listening to this. And I was listening to it as I was putting up my Christmas tree. So
that's awesome. Okay, so here we are diving in. We're talking about a Christmas album, and this is Still the Light. This is a Stryper Christmas song, and this is metal. And Kanak actually pulled out, and while you were reading from your notes, for those that are watching, I shared really briefly on screen the review, if you want to go read it, what they said. But they said about this, Still the Light is perhaps the best song on the album and has every quality of a Stryper metal track. Crunchy guitars, a heavy groove, and shining anthemic, yeah, I guess that's right, vocals.
Anthemic. Yep.
Yeah. It is also the song with the most sonic gravity and the least amount of festive sugar icing. But that's just their last statement. But this is a metal Christmas song.
No, totally, man. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. The originals on this record, they're heavy. This gave me a little Murder by Pride kind of vibe a little bit. But
yeah, I can hear that. I could see that.
But yeah, all the originals they're heavy, man. I'm kind of, I hate to say this, I'm proud of them for like pushing that forward because all of the originals on here are pretty heavy. So, but yeah, still, I mean, but lyrically, that's a great song. But yeah, it's definitely very, very metal.
Yeah, I mean, one of the other highlights that I saw, as I was just seeing what some people are saying about it, and this song apparently is being labeled as the most metal song on the album, and people are saying it features all the band's trademarks on it. And this song again was the first one that was released a month and a half ago as the lead up to the release of this album. So we're already pretty familiar with this song, so it didn't surprise us. But I like how you pointed it out because I didn't catch that earlier, how this album, when you look at the tracks, it's original, traditional, original, traditional, original, traditional, original, traditional, original. 5 original, 5 traditional. And
no,
it's
the sequencing is perfect. I mean,
yeah.
I look at that stuff, I probably more critical than I should when I see my bands release records. It's like, all right, how are we organizing this thing? But yeah, the sequencing on this thing is it's pretty perfect.
Yeah, it really is. And you start to think, okay, how are they going to do Silent Night? How are they going to do Joy to the World? And again, Silent Night is a very, I guess if you want to say, ballad, slow, but I've always liked
pretty,
Stryper's
man.
ballads. It's a great song. Going back to, like you said, no skippers on this entire album.
Yeah, and what are you going to do with Silent Night? I mean, I don't need Silent Night to have dual guitar solos and all this stuff in it. Just do the song, and Mike singing it, so it's gonna be good. Joy to the World. That was one I was like, oh, I didn't expect that reimagination of the song with the dual guitar solos and the drums and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, I mean, Silent Night's just, you don't need to mess with it too much.
No, and you know what? As you said, you wanted to play it for your family. I just had this thought. What we should do, this should be like the lead that we play for the very traditional people who want their Christmas songs to sound the same. Listen, this is what Stryper did for Silent Night. Oh, that's pretty good. Oh, let me let you listen to one of their original songs. Let me let you listen to Still the Light.
You know what? I think, oh, this is perfect. I wish I could get this album on Spotify and reorganize it to where
into a playlist.
Yeah, until like some of the traditional stuffs were more up top, and then we get to Still the Light. I don't know. Maybe Spotify will get their stuff together before Christmas. I don't know, but yeah, man. And the fact that it took, how is this the first Stryper Christmas record?
40 years.
It doesn't make any sense.
But I actually like the fact that it is their first one, mainly because if they had done it originally back in the day, not that it would be outdated, I don't want to say that from sound, but this to me just sits well right with where we are in 2025, and this is something that I could see listening to for years to come. And as a matter of fact, it might be something like you said, I just break down and buy one for all my kids.
You know what? That's not a bad idea. Yeah, well, I'm still waiting on my CD to come today, so I'm gonna be listening to that today. But I could definitely see this one. It's solid as heck, man. It's it's way more than I expected. So I'm glad they did this. I'm glad they did it the way they did it. It's the production. It's really bright, and so even listening back to Reason for the Season, I listened to like I say, I listened to the one off the original, and when I listen to this one, it's like so forward and so bright. Yeah, I don't know. I think the whole thing is just, and I love this interpretation of Joy to the World is just like I say, this makes me smile because heck, you got the guitar solo in this thing is mimicking the vocals, and it's the the dual solos, the alto, and all that kind of stuff, and it just sounds, I don't know. It's a song that makes me smile, and it's like really fun. Like I don't know, every other song. It's interesting they stuck Winter Wonderland on the end, but I don't know. I'm not sure what
It,
else I can. I'm not sure what else I can say about that.
well, you know what you could do as the drummer at your church? You could say, "Hey, I got some new variations of how we could do these songs."
Dude, don't even. I've already thought about it. I'm just like, hey, can we? Because especially Joy of the World and Little Drummer Boy, I'm definitely bringing that up. I don't know if it will get greenlit, but I will definitely be bringing it up because we always do like a Christmas thing, and so I don't know if I need to send this whole thing to my music pastor, but yeah, no, I don't think I haven't thought about it already.
Yeah, I was just sitting there imagining you introducing this and saying, "Hey, I've got a new sound for us for this particular song." That would be pretty. That would be pretty cool, in my opinion. And I know
No,
you,
dude, I would love to do Joy of the World on Christmas Eve service. Don't get me wrong.
and I know you mentioned this a couple of times, but reason for the season clocks in just under 7 minutes,
It's great.
and it's
So,
just
what do you think about this versus the original?
I
Because I know how much you like this song.
yeah, it's kind of like what I sent to you yesterday. And this is, to me, this isn't a knock on anything because, like you've said the entire time, his vocals are spot on, but as I still has very strong vocals on this album. But if you listen to me, if you listen to the original, you listen to now, you can tell the difference in his vocals from now versus 40 years ago. So, but for me, they stayed really true to the original that they did 40 years ago of this particular song. And to me, it would just be, and again, I haven't seen this song live. I missed the tour when they did this song live, but I feel like they just stuck true to the original. They updated it for 2025. It would have been a remake. I mean, to me, it could have been on Second Coming, but I still love this song. But if you listen to it, to me, you can tell there's a vocal difference. I mean, he's not 23, he's 62 now. So of course the voice is going to be a little bit different. But it's still strong. But when they get into the chorus of this song, the harmonies, he is the reason for the season. He's the reason for today. Still, I just love that. I just still love the sound of that. Just, yeah. I love that they put this towards the back half of the album instead of putting it towards the front, because I listened to this in order. I didn't skip to this one. Oh, I want to hear Reason for the Season. I was anticipating that. But when I got to this song, I was like, and the guitars sound a little bit, I don't know if crunchy or grittier a little bit is the right word, but they sound the same, but don't sound the same. And I just still love the song. I love this version.
Yeah, no, it's good. Yeah, to me it just sounds cleaner. It's not quite as chunky as the original, but I mean, I do like how bright everything is, because
Yeah.
everything's a little more forward in the mix and even. If you listen to the original, Mike's vocal is way in front. This one, everything's kind of like evened out, but it's way cleaner, but it's bigger. So I'm not sure exactly what they did with the production there, but if you listen to the original, it's a little quieter overall. But this one is like it's big, it's bright, it's just like I don't know, man.
It's fun. This album is fun.
Yes, I agree totally. And then we ended out with Winter Wonderland, which is a metal song. Which is ridiculous. It's ridiculous they even did this song in the originally. It's like, why would you do that? But it's 3 minutes, so it's like whatever. We'll just go and do the thing and whatever. But this record is fun, just like you said.
And I love, and going back to Reason for the Season, the guitar solos are playing underneath right here, and I just think they sound just spot on. It
sounds great. And I don't know. I was listening to the bass lines in the original version of this, and I was listening to this one, and the bass sounds so silky in this particular remix. And so I'm not sure what they did. I don't know I guess Perry might have re-recorded some of that stuff. It's not one for one for the original, but it sounds so good. That's one thing that I noticed when I was listening to it. I was like, these bass lines are just, whew, they thick. And
yeah,
I'm always into percussion, the rhythm section part of the song. So yeah, when I was listening to this, I was like, man, this is smooth as silk.
And I didn't really put this together until right now as we're talking about this song. And it's interesting when they open up this album with their original song, The Greatest Gift of All, and they're talking about, it's not about the gifts, it's what's wrapped underneath the tree, but the love that sets us free should never be about what we stand to gain. Then they close it out with even though Winter Wonderland, their last original song is basically the same message as their first original song on here. He's the reason for the season. We all know it's better to give than to receive. And that ultimately is going back to the gift that we were giving. And I love this part when they get into that.
Yeah, this part.
They slow it down and they get to this. But it's like the theme lyrically throughout this entire album just continue, because they didn't incorporate Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer or Santa Claus is Coming to Town. They strictly kept this album about his birth. And I think that's one of the reasons that makes this album just sound just fun to listen to, but also the meaning of the season is really wrapped up with each of the songs, with the exception of Winter Wonderland. But that's just a fun song. That's just a fun song to end the album with.
No, that song's fun, dude. Yeah, but yeah, it's the only song that has, we'll pretend that he's Parson Brown. But it is a kind of a banger though. But yeah, and I wouldn't expect anything else from this band, really. I wouldn't expect Santa Claus songs on a Stryper Christmas record. I mean, it's like they're going to keep it in focus and keep it in the frame as far as what the season means. I mean, so if they had done something like that, I would have been disappointed. But yeah, I think that would have changed.
I think that would have changed the whole vibe of the album. And with the album being called The Greatest Gift of All, it's focusing on, it goes back to what this band has been about for their career, and they kept it on that instead of going, and I appreciate that these some of these songs you can listen to year round.
Yeah, fair enough.
You can listen to them year round. And again, I think for me, summing up this particular album, not that I don't see them doing another Christmas album, but for a Christmas album from Stryper, my expectations, they exceeded. I think that this album fits the vibe of the season with the bells, like I was talking about. Lyrically, the composure of all the songs on here, you've got the Stryper sound throughout the entire album. Have the lyrically, as I said already, it's about the meaning of the holiday season, and it's just a joyful, fun album to listen to, which it's one that I can see listening to year over year over year over year at this time.
No, totally. I mean, yeah, this totally exceeded my expectations. I mean, I knew it was probably going to be pretty cool, and I knew they were remaking some traditional stuff, but yeah, I had this thought, right? And it's so stupid, but I was like, well, you got your chocolate and my peanut butter. There's like so much, there's metal on here. There's some heavy songs on here, but then you got Silent Night and Joy to the World, and just like there's such a really good mix of their original stuff, which I'm like, wow, okay, you guys can still do the thing, and the traditional stuff reimagined. And I was just like, this whole, I got nothing bad to say about this record.
No, not at all. Not at all. I'm right there with you. There is nothing that I can criticize or say bad about this album because it is just such an enjoyable album to listen to.
Well, and for me, I was listening. I was actually trying to find like negative stuff because that's just the person that I am because I'm a horrible person. But um, I was listening to just the production of the thing too is just like it just sounds really good. I mean,
Yeah.
it's so bright and like you say, so fun. And when I was like I say, I basically listened to it all day yesterday, and I was trying to find something to talk about, and I was like, man, I got because again, the production elements and all that stuff was like, I don't I didn't look to see who produced this thing. I'm assuming it was Mike, but it just sounded like just so bright and so clear. And I was like I say, I got nothing as far as criticism and all that kind of stuff. So
Yeah, they knocked
yeah,
it out of the park with this album.
they really did. And yeah, I'm really I hate to say I'm proud of them, but that's kind of how I feel because
Yeah.
we put so much time and effort and money into this group, and it's like when they can do something like this, it's like, oh, okay, this is kind of a thing where I'm not sure what the words are, but it validates me as a fan. I was like, oh,
Yes.
you can still do this thing, and it's like above this record to me is above reproach as a Christmas record. So I'm like, yeah, I got a CD coming, and it's gonna be in the catalog probably for the rest of my days, I guess, unless they do another one. But I'll still listen to this one. But yeah, yeah, everything on here is just it's solid, and I'm really stoked with the originals because I was like, ah, okay, they're gonna do some originals, but the originals are bangers, dude. I mean,
Yes.
so and just the way they kind of reimagined some of the other stuff. Go Tell It on the Mountain to me, I'm just sorry, that's ridiculous.
I love how that particular songs opens up before they
Yeah,
get into before the instruments come in. It just sounds really cool, but it's it's one that, like I said, it's they knocked it out of the park with this particular one. And like you, if there were certain things about this album I didn't like, I would say it. But I haven't found anything to be critical of on this album. As a fan of the band, because when you've been a fan of something for 40 years, you start to get some high expectations sometimes, and the slightest miss can be, man, that sounded terrible or that sounded bad. But if you like Stryper, this album has every element of Stryper in it, but it goes back to it has the vibe of this season in it as well.
yeah, it does a really good job of hey, this is a Christmas record. So don't get it twisted. This is what we're doing. It's a Christmas record. So, but yeah, it does encapsulate the this is it does encapsulate the reason for the season, and they kept it on message. So
Yes. I
yeah,
that's a I think that's the thing I appreciate more than anything is they kept it about, like you said, the reason for the season from start to finish, with the exception of Winter Wonderland. That's just a fun
yeah,
banger
it's just
to
fun
end
though.
the album with, which is fun. But even with Winter Wonderland, it doesn't go into all the Rudolph and the Santa and all that kind of stuff. It keeps it about. But no, I love the album. I know you love the album. It's gonna go probably ranks as one of my favorite Christmas albums ever. And the reason I say that is because what other rock album do we really have out there that is and maybe my memory is not good at the moment because this is what I've been listening to since yesterday when it came out. And the Christmas songs haven't really started been being played yet, but this is
Yeah, no, I agree, and it's only 40 minutes, so it's a it's a easy listen. So I wish Spotify had this thing on on streaming because well, I ordered the CD, so I'm gonna drop that thing in the car and I'll be listening to that. But yeah, I do wish it was streaming so I could uh, at least send it to my kids and all that kind of stuff. Not that they're gonna give a crap, but
I know. I mentioned earlier about buying the CD and I started thinking, do they even have a CD player?
well, now that I do, and I have one in the car, and yeah, my daughter just sold her car, and there was a CD in the CD player that was mine, and she's like, "I've never played a CD in this car ever," and the car has 180,000 miles on it. So she's like, "Here's your Chris Cornell CD."
I've been looking for that.
Well, it's in my Spotify library, so it's all good. But yeah, it's just like, oh yeah, it's kind of like having VHS at this point.
But the thing is, I just want to say this before we part for the day. If you haven't listened to the album, you can get it on Amazon Music. It's $11, $12 to buy the MP3 album. As we've said, it's not on Spotify yet. It's not on. That might change by the time we release the episode in a couple of days. But as of today, it's not there. So if you want to listen to it, either you got to buy it on Amazon Music, buy the CD, buy the album. But I'll tell you, it's worth every penny that you're going to spend on the album for it. So don't hesitate. Buy the album, support the band, buy the album, and you're going to have a fun time listening to this particular album.
No, it's really great. I mean, I'm really impressed. I didn't have like high expectations, but yeah, I mean, they really did just nail it. Um, that like I say, the sequencing is great. The originals they slap, and
Yeah.
then the reimagining of some of the more traditional stuff was just like kind of I don't know, just something I really wasn't expecting. But yeah, this is fun, dude. It's just go get it. Let's It's about to be Christmas time anyway, so you need do you wanna listen to Mariah Carey for the next month and a half? I hope not.
No.
So go get this thing. It's fresh and it's kinda new and it feels like a different kind of vibe, but it's very fun and it does frame up the season very well aside from the commercialism and the Santa Claus and the Rudolph and all that kind of stuff. It does focus on what this is about. So I'm very, very pleased and I had a wonderful time listening to this thing, the multiple times that I listened to it. So, yeah,
Yep. Same here. And don't forget to like and subscribe. Like and
like subscribe.
subscribe. We appreciate you listening and spread the word about this album. It's fun. If you haven't listened to it, like I said, like we've said, go buy it. You'll enjoy it. I guarantee it. And as we wrap up, as always, don't forget, as you're listening to the greatest gift of all, keep it loud. Time to have a loud
Hey,
album at Christmas time. but keep it honest and keep the fire burning. Thanks again for listening, and we will see you next week.
Love you guys.